Well, I'm an out-of-state student, so although all veterinary students get to, experience the high debt load, it's even higher for me. So when I saw that they were looking for students to participate and brainstorm with this at this summit, I felt that it was even more important for somebody from the out-of-state side to come in and provide some fresh ideas so that we can hopefully in the future address this issue and lower the student debt, especially for out-of-state students.
Just astronomical stress load on all the students, having to think about not only passing all their classes and passing state boards and becoming an actual doctor, then they have to think about how am I going to pay for this tuition, and like you were saying, the starting salary is not increasing at all, and their student debt is astronomical.
As a first-year student even, it causes me a lot of stress. We have a business class here at Michigan State, and so we're kind of forced to face that debt head on, and looking at how much debt I probably will have within the next few years is kind of astounding. It's scary for sure. I've done a lot of things just in my personal lifestyle, as far as, I cook all my own food. I've cut down on, spending as many ways as I can, and I've just took the summer position that I can make as much money as I can, just because that's, that kind of dictates what I do at this point.
So the increase in student debt with the constants of starting salaries has definitely impacted my workplace at Carolina Equine Hospital, where we employ 2 equine veterinary interns each year. As we watch the economy of student debt and starting salaries and their conversions, it affects dramatically our pool of candidates from which to choose. We see more students shying away from internship opportunities and experiences, more students looking for opportunities that will increase their salary right off the bat. So some students who are not considering equine practice that otherwise would have, because of the difference between equine practice salaries and starting salaries in small animal practices.
So I worry every day about our student debt, and I get an opportunity to work with a teaching hospital that has a lot of issues associated with raising enough funds to support my faculty and my staff, and to try to balance, how the morale is within the teaching hospital and what it takes to do the job of educating our students, and how much support we get from the state versus how much revenue we earn from the hospital versus how much income comes from tuition. And it's such a difficult dance to make a difference in our students' lives. Each of these students wants so badly to become a veterinarian, and my out-of-state students have a debt burden that's above $200,000. My in-state students have a debt burden of about $100,000, and I worry about that every day. So, the reason I'm here today, or the reason I'm here at this conference, is to try to understand what are possible approaches that we can use to solve this problem. How can we get our students to graduate under this great profession, to be able to practice veterinary medicine and do the great things that I know each of them are capable of doing, but also have the ability to have a great life, and to be able to go to work and earn enough money to pay off their burdens, but have enough to take care of their kids and the future generations of, students to come.
The rising cost of education isn't keeping up with the amount of income that's your first year out of veterinary school. The income doesn't match. It hasn't changed. I mean, starting salary for veterinarians right out of vet school, tends to be lower, especially compared to, other medical fields such as doctors. Clients also don't understand that, so they presume that veterinarians make the same as medical doctors, which is not true in a lot of instances. So the rate of inflation for education is overpowering the amount of income that a brand new veterinarian makes right after graduation.
The thing that I've seen the most is that the ability of the clients to pay for our escalating services, the cost of our services are going high, and the national economy has precluded an awful lot of clients from paying that. And as a result of that, we're missing an awful lot of the needs within society for our services, and we can't pay new graduates what they deserve or what they should get to service their debt.
I think when the public realizes all the things we do, the value we bring to the table, and then getting practice-ready veterinarians to deliver those services will have a positive economic impact.
Well, agriculture and agriculture-related areas are vitally important. If you look at the future where the population is projected to exceed 9 million, food has to come from someplace. And veterinary medicine being at the forefront and having people in the field on a regular basis, it's got to be there. It's got to be a very important aspect of producing food for the 9 billion plus people in the future. Whether we're talking about food safety, whether we're talking about nutrition, or food sustainability, veterinarians are uniquely qualified to address all those issues and more.
Well, this is something that hasn't happened overnight. It's taken a long time to get where it is, but we're actually to a tipping point. We're to a point where here at Michigan State University and in a lot of other colleges of veterinary medicine, it's just not sustainable. We cannot go forward because of many reasons. First of all, our students, our new graduates, huge debt burden for 20, 30, 40 years of their life. Secondly, as far as the colleges go, we're going to be in a position, we fully believe in the near future, where we're not going to have enough applicants for our colleges. And eventually, veterinarians will not be able to serve society in the way in which we need to, in the way society is expecting us to.
My commitment to the profession is very great, and I'd like to see future generations be able to graduate from veterinary school without $240,000 or more worth of debt. At the end of the day, when we pay this off, when you add the interests, I'll be paying about $5 million for my education. And I'm concerned that I won't be able to pay that with the salary that I'm making when I graduate.
The issues that we identify as being prominent in the veterinary profession with regard to economics are brought out, analyzed, and at least some solutions are beginning to be addressed.
I'm hoping to come up with some new ideas. I read through some of the program's ideas so far, and all of them have pros and cons, and so I'm hoping to somehow find some sort of solution that is easily implemented, because some of them, you need to get a lot of people on board, and I think that's going to be the toughest obstacle. And so I think it would be really great if we could find a way to get all the colleges on board and all of the people who are already veterinarians on board with one of the solutions.
I think, looking at veterinary medicine as a whole, but then looking at my current role within the pharmaceutical industry, I think we do bring perspective in that we get to go into numerous clinics across the U.S. and we get to see the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we get to see how really well-run clinics can perform and perform exceptionally, and hopefully bringing some of those ideas and some of those strategies and tactics that they have and passing that on to other clinics in the hopes that they can also rise up to the levels that some of those really strong clinics are.
I feel very strongly that we need to focus on opportunities in this profession. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. And that's one of the reasons why I talk to veterinary students all the time.
Well, veterinary medicine is critical, I mean, both for animals and for public health. So it's very important that we attract the best and the brightest, and we get a diverse group of people into the profession. And so we need to make it more doable for all types of people.